IWM today, and I'll show you this on the sticks and Webull, was like extremely strong today. So, pleasant surprise. We'll have to see if it keeps up, but, so far so good, I'll say. So far so good. But let's go ahead and switch over to the sticks here, just so I can show you. Wrong button. There we go. The S&P 500. You can see this. This is the day chart. We gapped up at the open, and it has been strong throughout the entire day. Just a steady uptrend. In the markets recently, all we've gotten is like down, up, down, up, down, up throughout the day. But today was different. We actually had a really strong uptrend. No real downturn throughout the day. Just buyers buying, I guess you could say. So the S&P 500 is up 2% right now, which is crazy for an index to move that much. That's quite a move for an index on any given trading day. The Nasdaq, I believe, was outpacing the S&P. No, I'm sorry, they weren't. Nasdaq's only up about 1.8%, but the IWM, the small caps, I know for a fact were outpacing, up 2.5% right now. Very, very similar chart for all of these indices today. So really, really strong. I know some of the underlying retail stocks didn't have as good a days as people would have anticipated when the indices are this strong. But, every once in a while, a day like this will happen where the indices are really strong and some of your favorite retail investments and retail stocks aren't doing so hot. It just happens. It's kind of the opposite of yesterday where the indices didn't do so well, but actually a lot of the individual retail stocks vastly outperformed the market indices. I see Eric's in here. What's going on, Eric? What's going on? Love from Sweden. That's super cool. Checking in from Sweden. I see East Stas here. East says, nice hat. Thank you, my man. Thank you. This is my lucky hat. Mohammed's in here. What's going on, Mohammed? Jose's back in here. It's good to see all you guys again. I've been doing these market close live streams pretty consistently now for the past couple of weeks. So if you guys are new here, returning, not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We've been doing the closing bell, covering the earnings. Side note, I'm no Meet Kevin. I just do my best. Meet Kevin's Meet Kevin. I don't think he can be replicated, but I do my best. So I appreciate all of you guys being in here. If you guys are going to watch me in the background, just poke into the chat real briefly and say what's up, say hello, whatnot. I greatly appreciate it, and I like to see all the different names. But after the closing bell today, we have Chargepoint earnings, Snowflake earnings, C3 AI earnings, and Splunk earnings. And going into these after-hours earnings, Chargepoint is down about 0.5%. Snowflake is up about 1.2%. C3 AI is up about 3.6%, and Splunk is down 1.7%. And I've covered this on the channel in the past, but usually it's easier for companies to report their earnings into a red day for their stock, where if the stock is already up 4 or 5% throughout the given trading day, it can be difficult to get a positive reaction to your earnings report just because it's difficult to go green even more than the already 4 to 5% you were green throughout the day. Vice versa is also true. If you're red going into your earnings report, the anticipation is much lower. The markets aren't expecting as much if you're red going into the earnings after hours. Mohammed says, Chargepoint, what do you think they will do? Chargepoint, if you guys don't know, I am a proud owner of a Tesla Model 3, so I have experience using several different charging stations. Chargepoint is definitely focused more on, like, if you go to the library, there's going to be a Chargepoint charging station there. That's that type of thing. Also at like a university or a high school, that's where Chargepoint's forte is. They also install like home electric vehicle chargers. Personally, I don't have one. I just know that people do. Ultimately, Chargepoint being bashed, absolutely thrashed over the past year. High of almost $50, down to 14 now. I think Chargepoint's going to be a great long-term stock. I don't know how the market's going to react to this earnings report. If I had to guess, it's going to be a really positive earnings report. But again, that's just a guess. I could be very wrong. Robert asks, is that a fake background? No, it's not a fake background. I actually I don't live. This is my family's lake house where I have my recording studio. But yeah, there's a lake behind me. This is the pier that goes into the actual lake that's that way. It's pretty awesome, huh? Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Ben Anderson is from Sweden too. We have a lot of Swedish people here. That's super cool. Mohammed says AMD to the moon. How did AMD do today? AMD, 4.5%, really, really strong for AMD. Let me go back to the one-day chart so we can actually see this. Yeah, AMD is basically the market indice on steroids today, where the market indexes were all in a solid uptrend all day long, but AMD is on a whole nother level, up about 4.5% right now. NVIDIA we'll look at just because it's a close competitor, underperforming a little bit, up 3.45%, but still a tremendous day for NVIDIA. Let's go ahead and check in on Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin kind of was having a down day. Looks like maybe we're starting to bounce back on Bitcoin. Let's check in on like the Bitcoin mining stocks like Marathon Digital. Marathon Digital is up about 2.8% right now. So pretty solid move, honestly, for Marathon. Riot Blockchain's up 1.7%. CleanSpark, my personal favorite Bitcoin mining company, is up about 3.14%. They broke the $11 level. Really nice to see there. Okay, what was I going to do now? I can't remember. I'll go back to the chat. Jose says, have you seen Corz? C-O-R-Z. Biggest miner with 9+ exahash. Yeah, I have. I think that's Core Scientific, right? Or no, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I haven't seen this. I thought this was Core Scientific, but maybe I'm wrong. No, I honestly haven't seen Cores. Up about 2.17% though. Another Bitcoin mining company. Eric says short MOEX. I think MOEX is like the Russian index, if I'm not wrong. I Heart Canna Mothership Cannabis says, which one should I short for earnings? Best of luck. I don't really short sell. I don't bet against the markets. Ultimately, I believe the economy is going to grow. More money is going to flood into the system. So I think it's kind of a dangerous game to be short selling. Doesn't mean you can't make money. I also feel like it's a little crummy. I don't like to bet against American businesses or businesses in general. I like to bet for them and give them my capital to, better the world, kind of. I know that's like a big speech, and I apologize. Solids Metallurgy says, last chance to buy GBR before it goes above $40. What is GBR? I don't know what GBR is. New concept, up 5%. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but maybe it is. Jose asks, what's my opinion on Beam stock? Beam Global, a solar play, I believe. I do like this one. Right alongside the rest of like the electric vehicle stuff, I love the solar plays, especially because they were hyped up so much going into the presidential election of 2020, with the Biden administration taking office. Things were really hyped up, and unfortunately, no bias, but unfortunately, the Biden administration really hasn't pushed EVs or green energy near as much as people thought they would. I think that's kind of common consensus. And as a result, these stocks have sold off pretty tremendously. I do still think green energy and electric vehicles, those sorts of things are the future. And I think if you're staking a bet now on these companies, you're going to do very well if you're long-term minded. Obviously not financial advice. Don't sue me. Don't sue me if I'm wrong, because I've been wrong in the past and I'll be wrong again in the future. Okay, Froggy says, don't apologize for being a great person. I appreciate it, Froggy. You're one of my favorites. Okay, let's go back and check in on the indices here really quick. S&P 500 still really, really strong. If we can continue to get some strength going into the close, that is preferable. We got one red candle here. We have about 9 minutes until the closing bell. S&P 500 is up about 2%. The Nasdaq's up only about 1.88%. So the Nasdaq tech stocks are actually lagging today. And I was looking at PayPal earlier. PayPal was actually red. They broke green about 0.5% now. PayPal is one of those stocks that I really want to get into if I can, sooner than later. At $100 per share, this should be like over a $200 stock, according to the analysis I have done. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't sue me if it never happens, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm going to stake my chips where I believe in stuff I believe. Anyways, what was I doing? Let's check on the small caps. The IWM Russell 2000 ETF still vastly outperforming all of the market indices today. And this is something that's very, very consistent. Whenever you enter a correction in the stock market, the first stocks to fall are the small caps. But on your way out of the correction, the first stocks to actually climb back up are the small caps. So the fact that small caps have vastly outperformed like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq throughout 2022 so far is kind of a signal that we might be ending this correction in the stock market. Hope it happens for everybody's sake. If you guys wouldn't mind, please hit the like button for me before we get to these earnings after hours. Also, feel free to share this with anybody that you think might be interested in these company earnings. I'll be going through Chargepoint, Snowflake, AI, which is C3 AI, and Splunk. If there are any other companies reporting earnings today that I don't have on this list that you want me to cover, simply let me know in the chat, and I will add them to the list and gladly cover them for you. Also, if you guys are new here, returning not yet subscribed, I know these are a lot of like side notes, nobody cares. But if you guys are new here, please subscribe as well. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's go back to the chat here. Stock Jockey's here. What's going on, Stock Jockey? Good to see you again. iHeart says, I've got 9 minutes to pick a after-hours earnings. LOL. I won't short. What's a good call company? I don't know. Like, almost, I would say all 4 of the companies reporting that I'm going to cover so far, like Chargepoint, Snowflake, C3AI, and Splunk, all of those are likely going to move drastically after their earnings. They're high beta or higher beta stocks, meaning that they're going to react. They're going to be volatile. So Chargepoint, I would say, is probably going to be the most volatile out of that group. If you're looking for, FU money, for lack of better terms, to put into the markets and bet on one of these earnings, I don't ever advise people to bet on earnings because it's a crapshoot. It's literally playing roulette. We've seen companies that report great earnings have terrible reactions from the markets, and we've seen companies report terrible earnings and have great reaction from the markets. It's just like so unpredictable. I never advise anybody to do it, but ChargePoint's probably going to be the most volatile. Snowflake will probably be the least volatile. Still, I think it'll be volatile, about a 3% move, 3 to 5% move on Snowflake, I would say. C3AI will be volatile as well. Splunk, maybe, just as volatile. Okay, I see Josh is in here. What's going on, Josh? Nice of you to tune in. The Tangy Man says, in my humble opinion, Rex, you the man. Hey, I appreciate it, but you're the man, not me. You're the man. You're the man. Okay, PSFE, Froggy says. What is PSFE? Is PSFE reporting today? PaySafe, yeah, of course. Yeah, I think they are reporting today. PaySafe, I'll add them to the list for sure. I will add those right now. I'll add PaySafe to my list to make sure I don't miss them. Let me go ahead and switch back to the Google Chrome browser so you guys can see me do this. I'll add PSFE to the Benzinga Newswire here, so as soon as their earnings are released, it'll populate here in the news feed. Anyways, we don't need to focus on the news feed yet until after hours when the earnings actually start coming out. So let's go back to the sticks here on Webull. PaySafe is up about 5.36% going into their earnings after hours. ChargePoint was green last we checked. Or no, I'm sorry. They were red by 0.5%. Now they're red by about 0.91%. Snowflake right now going into earnings after hours is up about 1% flat. C3AI going into earnings after hours is up about 3.4%. So the market's quite obviously are anticipating a really good earnings from C3AI. And then Splunk is down about 1.36% going into their earnings after hours. Let's go ahead and check in on the S&P 500 again. About 5 minutes till the market close. We just got a few red candles here. We'll see if this gets bought up. Pretty high volume, too, on these last 4 minutes or so of red candles. But still, I mean, the S&P 500 is still up 1.94% on the day, which is a tremendous move for the S&P 500. The Nasdaq, let's see if we're getting similar price action. Yeah, the Nasdaq had a big red candle as well. Looks like the Nasdaq might be getting bought up a little bit quicker than the S&P 500 was. See how the Russell is reacting. Yeah, Russell's the most volatile. We got 4 pretty big red candles here on the Russell with about 4 minutes to go in the trading day. So hopefully this stuff gets bought up and we have some strength going into earnings after hours and strength going into the markets tomorrow. It's always good to have strength. But again, if things sell off a little bit after such a strong day, I mean, zoom out and look at the one-day chart. Things are so strong, such an uptrend today. If things sell off a little bit, it's normal. People are going to take their profits on a day like today. No reason to freak out. But it obviously would be good to see, some of these, the markets in general getting bought up and showing strength going into tomorrow. I see Michael's in here. What's going on? Yeah, Stock Jockey says 80 degrees March in Nebraska. Yes, please. Yeah, I live in Nebraska too, disclaimer, and it is absolutely beautiful outside. Beautiful. Windows down in the car all day. Windows down in the Tesla. Okay, Michael's here. What's going on, Michael? I know I just said your name, but I want to shout you out again. SoFi being held down today. Let's go ahead and check in on SoFi. SoFi, one of the fintech companies, down or up about 3% after popping to $13. And they reported earnings yesterday, and they had a really good earnings report. The markets loved it. But yeah, it's kind of sold off. Might just be some profit taking off of the heels of that earnings report. We'll see what ultimately happens, though. Nasdaq, let's see if these are getting bought up yet. Nope, still red candles on the Nasdaq, and it's probably the same thing for the S&P 500 and so forth. Philip asked my opinion about SoFi. It's another one of those that's just gotten beat up, and I think it's on discount right now. Over the long term, if you're buying SoFi right now, you're going to do very well. I shouldn't say that as a certainty, but as much of a certainty as I can claim, SoFi, if you're buying it today, you're probably going to do well over the long term, right? On this YouTube channel, I always focus on the long-term investment mindset. It's the only mindset that's been proven to work in the markets time and time again, never fails. But yeah, so if you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure you subscribe, by the way, if you're new here. I gotta send that, disclaimer out every once in a while. Okay, Tiger Woods says, "Hi Rex, can you cover AEO earnings, please? I've got a bet on them. Thanks." Yeah, absolutely, Tiger Woods. I would do anything for you, Tiger Woods. Absolutely. Tiger Woods tuning in. What's going on? I see 2 AEOs. I'm assuming probably Atmos Energy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Atmos is up about 7% right now. If you wanted American Eagle or whatever that other AOE company was, just let me know. No, maybe I'm on the wrong... This looks very, very weird, this chart. Maybe I'm on the wrong one. Let me know. Let me know which company you want. Do you want American Eagle Outfitters or Atmos Energy? I'll go to American Eagle. Maybe you mean American Eagle. Clarify, though, for me. Thank you. Okay, Rick Lacrosse is in here. What's going on, Rick? I miss seeing you on the Discord, my man. What's going on, Rick? Good to see you. Eric Larson says, "Have you checked out any uranium stocks?" No, Eric, I haven't. My rare earth mineral play is actually Li-Cycle, which is down 4% today, so don't look today. But this is my rare earth material stock. They recycle lithium-ion batteries, which is going to be a huge industry going forward. I mean, think about how the world, everything is moving to electric batteries. And, you don't want to throw away your batteries into a landfill. By the way, I'm going to end this short discussion here quick because the S&P 500 is going to close. Closing bell is soon. We're getting a green candlestick here, though, in the last minute of trading, which is good to see on the S&P 500. But, yeah, Li-Cycle, you don't want to throw away used batteries because there's high-demand materials and minerals in those batteries that still could be used in new batteries that we're mining for and wasting money to mine for when we could just reuse those same materials and minerals. It makes no sense to me why we would throw those away. But Li-Cycle is kind of my rare earth mineral play. Okay, the S&P 500 just closed. Ding, ding, ding. I don't have a CNBC closing bell. I apologize. I said I'm no meat, Kevin. I try to be, but I'm not. S&P 500. See, I even get twisted on my own words. S&P 500 finished up 1.83%. The Nasdaq finished up 1.68%. The Russell 2000 IWM finished up 2.43%, so the small caps outperformed once again today. Let's go ahead and check in on the retail favorites. CleanSpark is my favorite. Finished up 2.53%. Palantir finished down 1.07%. Tattooed Chef finished up 2.86%. Corsair Gaming finished up 2.7%. Enphase Energy finished down 3.93%. Interesting there. And then Tesla, lastly, finished up 1.8% here. But now, okay, we're going to cover Chargepoint, Snowflake, C3AI, Splunk, and PaySafe earnings. And somebody wanted me to cover AEO, and I'll add AEO to the list as well. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Google Chrome browser here. As soon as these earnings come out, it'll auto-populate here in my Benzinga newsfeed. We don't have anything out yet. Let me go ahead and add AEO, I believe it was. AEO, American Eagle Outfitters. There we go. So Chargepoint, C3AI, PaySafe, Snowflake, and Splunk, and American Eagle Outfitters. If there are any other earnings you want me to cover, let me know and I'll add them to the list. Let's just go ahead and bring up the Yahoo Finance page as well so we can see the immediate after-hours reaction to these earnings. Let's start with ChargePoint. I don't know whose earnings are going to come out first. Typically, the first earnings start rolling out at about 5 after the closing bell, so in about 3 minutes. Right now, after hours, ChargePoint is up 1.56%. I do not have them here in my news feed yet, but it's possible the earnings have come out and just not hit the news feeds. SE is another good entry for long hold. Comment. SE, I can't remember what SE is. That SE. Oh, C Limited. Yeah. I like C Limited. I haven't done enough analysis and research on them to give you my honest, take and opinion on them. But the little I know about the company, I do think they're a good company for the long term as well. But take it with a grain of salt. I haven't done the proper research or analysis on them. BB's back in here. What's going on, BB? The hotspot's here from Hawaii. What's going on? Yeah, the hotspot. Always tuning in from Hawaii. I love it. My weather here in Nebraska is, I'm sure, rivaling yours in Hawaii. 80 degrees here, the hotspot. I don't know how it is in Hawaii, but 80 degrees is pretty nice. All right. OKTA. People want me to cover OKTA. Splunk just came out. I'll add OKTA to the list quickly, and I'll cover Splunk. Okay, I got OKTA written down. Splunk. No, I'm sorry. Splunk earnings did not come out. We just got a press release. Splunk names Gary Steele as Chief Executive Officer. Prior to Proofpoint, Steele was CEO of Portera. Yeah, I'm not seeing much on that. I'll come back to Splunk when their actual earnings come out. OKTA came out, though. OKTA Q4 EPS of negative 18 cents beat the negative 24 cent estimate. So an earnings beat for OKTA. Sales of $383 million beat the $359 million estimate. So a double beat for OKTA. Guidance for Q1 of 2023 of $388 to $390 million. And they see adjusted EPS of negative 35 cents for Q1 of 2023. I don't have the actual versus the estimates for the earnings, but they beat, for the guidance, but they beat on sales and they beat on earnings for the current quarter. Let's go ahead and see how Splunk is acting after hours. OKTA is acting after hours. If I can get this to load. OKTA. Okay, we're all over the place now. I apologize. Okay, TA, let's load this up. I would guess they're green. They're red, about 1.63%. So maybe their guidance missed. I don't have the estimated guidance. I just have the actual guidance that they put out. But OKTA, beat on earnings, beat on sales, positive. I'm not sure what the actual guidance was compared. I know what the actual guidance was. I just don't know what the estimated guidance was, so I can't tell you. Maybe that's why the stock is down after hours by about 1.5%, 2% now as I'm speaking. I will write down on my sheet here double beat so I don't forget. And guidance is kind of a question mark. Hopefully they'll give us a headliner there on guidance. Okay, Splunk. Let's see if we can dissect their earnings report, SEC filing they just put out. Snowflake just came in as well. Okay, really quickly. Splunk cloud ARR was $1.34 billion, up 65% year over year. Total revenues were $901 million, up 21% year over year. Pretty good growth, honestly, there. Operating cash flow of $128 million with free cash flow of $117 million. Let's see how SPLK is acting after hours. OKTA is down about 4% now, by the way. Splunk is up 3%, so positive reaction to Splunk's earnings so far. Okay, and they just named their new CEO, so maybe that's why they're moving up a little bit as well. Okay, Snowflake just came in. I don't have the headliner, but we have product revenue of $360 million essentially in the fourth quarter, representing 102% year-over-year growth. Incredible. Remaining performance obligations of $2.6 billion, representing 99% year-over-year growth. Basically, that's backlog, I would assume. 5,900, almost 6,000 total customers for Snowflake. Net revenue retention rate of 178%, meaning they're not losing customers. 184 of their customers have trailing 12-month product revenue of greater than $1 million. Really, really good. I'm not seeing income numbers. Let me scroll down. Okay, so for the, I believe, let's see, fourth quarter. I'm not sure if I think this is just fourth quarter, but they had an operating loss of $152 million. Maybe that is just for the quarter, but I think that's the yearly amount. No, here's the full year. Full year, they had an operating loss of $715 million. For the quarter, they had an operating loss of $152 million. Let's just go ahead and see how Snowflake is acting after hours. Splunk is still up about 4%. OKTA was down about 4%. Snowflake is down 18%, 20% now. Snowflake, something they don't like there. I'm guessing it's probably that operating loss. And a miss on earnings and income. I don't have the actual versus estimate yet. Okay, Chargepoint just came in as well. Chargepoint, quarterly revenue increased 90% year over year. Annual revenue increased 65%. Both at the top end of guidance. That's big for Chargepoint. Over 174,000 ports were activated as of January 31st. They expect annual revenue of $450 to $500 million for fiscal year 2023. Gross margin of 22%. Net income, they had a GAAP net loss of $60.5 million, which included a $17 million gain from the change in fair value of warrant liabilities. Let's see how Chargepoint is acting after hours. If I had to guess, they're probably going to be red, missing earnings. No, they're green, about 2%. Again, I don't have the actual versus estimate on earnings. I was just taking a guess. They're flat now, though, but Splunk was getting killed or Snowflake was getting killed after hours. Splunk is up about 1%. Snowflake, though, was down like 20%, 26% now. Oof, Snowflake. Yikes. I hope none of you were invested in that. And if you are, I hope you recover quickly. Here's the actual versus the estimate for Splunk. Q4 adjusted EPS of 66 cents positive. Sales of $900 million beat the $777 million estimate. I'm not sure if the earnings beat. I'm assuming they beat, so a double beat for Splunk. Good stuff there. Okay. People want me to cover Victoria's Secret. What is Victoria's Secret? Ticker symbol. Victoria's Secret. VSCO. Sure, I'll cover Victoria's. If they are today. I'm not sure if they're today or not. I'm assuming if you're asking for them, they're today. So it's on you if they're not. No. Okay. Let's see. We're getting kind of a break in the earnings coming in here. But let's go review this. Okay. So Chargepoint came in, by the way, Snowflake down about 27% now off the heels of their earnings. You're going to get a pretty big discount on Snowflake if you're a long-term believer. But man, 27% down hurts. Prayers and thoughts to you. Chargepoint, let's go back to Chargepoint. Chargepoint was up about 2% last we looked. They're up about 4.5% now, so positive reaction to Chargepoint. C3AI, I don't believe we have gotten their earnings yet, but they're up about 3% after hours. Splunk, again, was up about 2 to 3% last we looked. Still up about 3%. PaySafe, I don't believe, has come out. But we are going to be covering them. PaySafe, though, after hours right now, up about 0.66%, relatively flat. And then American Eagle Outfitters after hours right now is up about 1.22%. OKTA had a double beat. We weren't sure on the guidance, but they beat on sales. They beat on earnings. We're guessing the guidance missed just because the stock is down about 4.76% after hours. Okay, Splunk guidance just came in. Splunk sees Q1 total revenues $615 million to $635 million versus a $609 million estimate. So Splunk beat on guidance there for the next quarter. And for fiscal year 23 guidance, they see $3.25 to $3.3 billion in revenues versus just a $3 billion estimate. So a double beat on guidance for Splunk. And they also had really positive sales. Let's see, Splunk. See if they've moved any off of that headline. No, still only up about 4%. I am curious how Bitcoin is moving off the heels of these earnings reports. Sometimes Bitcoin moves interestingly after hours. Hasn't moved much today. But anyways, are there any other earnings that I don't have that are reporting today? We have Chargepoint, Snowflake, C3AI, Splunk, PaySafe, American Eagle Outfitters, and OKTA. So far, we've gotten OKTA to report. We've gotten Chargepoint to report. I believe, Chargepoint reported. Snowflake reported. Snowflake down 27% last we looked. We're still waiting on C3AI. Splunk reported. And then PaySafe we are also waiting for. PSFE. Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. PaySafe came out this morning. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought they were coming out after hours today. But PaySafe Q4 sales of $371 million beat the $357 million estimate. They see Q1 sales of $355 to $365 million versus a $362 estimate. So basically in line there on their guidance for the next upcoming quarter. For fiscal year 2022, their guidance was also in line for revenue. Let's see. PaySafe. Let's see how PaySafe acted today after they reported earnings this morning. PSFE today was up about 4.84%. So pretty solid move for PaySafe. Congratulations if you're a PaySafe shareholder. Okay. Chargepoint, their 8K just came in. Revenue for the fourth quarter was $80.7 million for Chargepoint, an increase of 90% year over year. Gross margin was 22%. I kind of already covered this, but I'm covering it again briefly here. Net loss, GAAP net loss of $60.5 million. And let's see, anything else of interest to us here? Full fiscal 2022 financial overview. For the full year, revenue was $242 million, an increase of 65% year over year. And they put out guidance, I believe. It's in the headline here somewhere. Guidance. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just speaking out of tongue here. But I felt, no. Here's the guidance. It was a headliner. Expects annual revenue of $450 million to $500 million. So they're still expecting strong revenue growth for this upcoming year. ChargePoint is. Let's go back to ChargePoint. Last we looked, they were down after hours. Or they were up. They were up 4%. See, I'm getting all these confused. They're up about 8% now. So extending the gains here on ChargePoint. Extending the gains, great to see. Let's go ahead and see how the market indices are acting after hours in accordance with these earnings. The S&P 500 is down about 0.06%. The Nasdaq after hours is QQQ down 0.13%. The small caps after hours, the IWM, is down 0.12%. So somewhat of a negative reaction to these earnings so far from the market indices. Obviously, you can't really tell much from the market indices, but it's also interesting to track these things. Frank just said Snowflake tanked. Yeah, and saying Snowflake tanked is putting it lightly, down 29% now. Let's just do some quick analysis here, some eyeball analysis is what I like to call it. $81 billion company, $81.5 billion, likely dropped more because they're down 29% after hours, but let's call it an $81 billion company. They only did $1 billion in revenue over the last 12 months. Still 110% revenue growth year over year in the quarter. About $4 billion in cash, not much debt, only $200 million in debt. Let's see what analysts are anticipating for Snowflake. Analysts next year in 2023 expect positive EPS of 4 cents. Revenue growth next year in 2023, they anticipate to be 66%, $2 billion. So looking at Snowflake just with my eyeballs, this isn't proper fundamental research, but just looking at this, even though it's down 29%, I still struggle to see the valuation here. You're paying for an $82 billion company that isn't even giving you positive earnings yet. And next year they're only on pace to do, what was it, just over $1 billion or $2 billion in revenue. And see, I feel like the valuation on Snowflake is still out of whack, and it has been for a long time, ever since they IPO'd. But that's just my personal opinion. Here we go. ChargePoint guidance. They see fiscal year 23 sales of $450 to $500 million versus a $378 million estimate. So they had a big beat on guidance, ChargePoint did. And they see Q1 sales of $72 to $77 million versus an $82 million estimate. So they missed on the quarterly guidance, but they beat big on the fiscal year guidance. Victoria's Secret just came in. Fourth quarter earnings per share were above the guidance, and they provided initial 2022 guidance. Let's see. The company reported net sales of $2.175 billion for the fourth quarter of 2021. Only up 4% year over year, but Victoria's Secret isn't a hyper-growth company by any means. Income. I'm looking at earnings and income. Looking for those numbers here. Operating income was $870 million compared to an operating loss of $100 million last year in 2020. So if I had to guess, VSCO is probably having a decently positive reaction after hours to this. But about 2.3% for Victoria's Secret after hours. American Eagle Outfitters reported they achieved the fiscal 2023 goals for structural transformation 2 years ahead of schedule. Ooh, that sounds good. Real power, real growth. They plan positions company for long-term revenue and profit growth, whatever that means. Record fiscal 2021 revenue for American Eagle of $5 billion, up 33% compared to fiscal 2020. Up 16% versus pre-pandemic fiscal 2019. Let's see. Any income or earnings numbers. Gross profit of $489 million, not net income, by the way. Rose 11% from $440 million in the fourth quarter of 2020. EPS of positive 25 cents. Adjusted EPS of 35 cents. So looks like really positive earnings here from American Eagle Outfitters. Victoria's Secret just went red after hours, down about 6%. So the market's probably pricing in and reacting to that earnings. American Eagle, though, down 7% off of those earnings. Those earnings look good to me. Maybe their guidance missed. I don't have American Eagle's guidance, though, yet. But yeah, ChargePoint is trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 sales and issued fiscal year 23 sales guidance way above analyst estimates. So good news for ChargePoint shareholders. American Eagle reported down about 7-8% right now. So we're still waiting on PaySafe reported this morning. So we're not waiting on PaySafe. The only one we're still waiting on is C3AI, which I am almost positive is reporting earnings today. But I'll just double check briefly here by doing a quick Google search. I'm going to. Looks like I froze. Did I freeze? Okay. Okay. We should be back though. I think I should be back. I apologize for freezing there. You might have to refresh the stream. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but Victoria's Secret sees fiscal year 2022. I'll try that again. Fiscal year 2022. I'll try it again. Fiscal year 2022 sales float to up in low single-digit range year over year. American Eagle Outfitters Q4 adjusted EPS of 35 cents. Sales of $1.5 billion, both in line. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So still waiting on C3AI, but we should be getting them sooner than later here. They're up about 2.8% after hours currently. Let's just go back and review these earnings we've gotten so far. Chargepoint had great earnings, and they're getting rewarded after hours for it, up about 8% currently as I'm speaking. Snowflake was getting killed, down about 29%, down about 28% now. C3AI, again, we're still waiting for. They were up about 2.8% when we looked just a few seconds ago. They're up about 3.7% now. We'll see what happens there. Splunk reported earnings, and they were in the green, I believe. Basically flat now, 0.07% after hours. And then PaySafe reported earnings this morning. They had a 5% day during the trading day. And then American Eagle Outfitters, surprisingly to me, was down after their earnings, 8% currently after hours. So unfortunate there for American Eagle Outfitters shareholders. OKTA, Okta, down 3.66% after hours after reporting their earnings. Okay. Okay, here's C3AI just came in. C3AI just came in. I don't have any headliners. I just have the press release. They raised their guidance. C3AI raises guidance. That's going to be a big benefit to the share price. Let's see. Revenue growth of 42% year over year to basically $70 million for C3AI. Revenue for the total quarter, again, $70 million, an increase of 42% from the prior year ago period. So let's see. Gross profit of $52.4 million, 75% gross margin. Really, really good. But again, C3AI is pretty much a software company, so you'd expect those gross margins to be pretty high like they are. Okay, net loss per share. Net loss per share was 38 cents compared to 21 cents a year ago. So they lost more money in this quarter than they did in the year ago quarter. Raising guidance, though, that's big. I wonder how the stock is reacting after hours to that earnings. Raising guidance is helpful, but it looks like them losing more money than they did last year might be hurtful. They're only up about 2% after hours right now, so pretty muted reaction to C3AI right now. But we'll see how it settles. Raising guidance is big, though. It looks like they won a contract with Shell, the Department of Defense, Royal Phillips, Cargill, Swift, Baker Hughes. Lots of project wins there for C3AI, which is good. And their Q3 adjusted EPS, the negative 7 cent, beat the negative 27 cents estimate. So they had a big beat on current quarter earnings. Their sales of $69.8 million beat the $66.8 million estimate, but they raised guidance again, propelling a stock after hours up about 3.35% after hours right now. So positive reaction to C3, positive reaction to Chargepoint, super negative reaction to Snowflake, down about 29% on Snowflake. And Splunk was pretty much flat and muted after hours. PaySafe had about a 5% day after reporting earnings this morning. American Eagle Outfitters was down about 8% to my surprise. And then OKTA also reported earnings and was down. But it looks like we are now through all of the earnings. If you guys are new here or returning tonight, subscribed, please hit the I'm losing my voice. Please hit the subscribe button for me. And I'll be back with another market close live stream tomorrow. It looks like tomorrow we have Costco, Broadcom, and that looks like about it. Gap is reporting. We might look at that. Funko is reporting. Okay, that looks like about it. So not much going on tomorrow, but I will be covering those earnings. Right now I'm going to go get my workout in for the day, and then I'm going to record a video which will be posted tonight. So make sure you stay tuned for my video tonight. But again, thank you guys all for coming out. I love seeing all you guys' names in the chat box. With that, have a great